The FV4034 Challenger 2 is a British main battle tank in service with the armies of the United Kingdom and Oman. It was designed and built by the British company Vickers Defence Systems. Vickers Defence Systems began to develop a successor to Challenger 1 as a private venture in 1986. A £90 million deal for a demonstrator vehicle was finalised in January 1989. In June 1991, the Ministry of Defence placed a £520 million order for 140 vehicles, with a further 268 ordered in 1994. Production began in 1993 and the unit's tanks were delivered in July 1994, replacing the Challenger 1. The tank entered service with the British Army in 1998, with the last delivered in 2002. It is expected to remain in service until 2035. The Royal Army of Oman ordered 18 Challenger 2s in 1993 and a further 20 tanks in November 1997. The Challenger 2 is an extensive redesign of the Challenger 1. Although the hull and automotive components seem similar, they are of a newer design and build than those of the Challenger 1, and only around 3% of components are interchangeable. The tank's drive system provides a 550 km range, with a maximum road speed of 59 km per hour. It has a 4-man crew. The Challenger 2 is equipped with a 120mm 55 caliber long L30A1 tank gun, the successor to the L11 gun used on the Chieftain and Challenger 1. Uniquely among NATO main battle tank armament, the L30A1 is rifled, because the British Army continues to place a premium on the use of high-explosive squash-head rounds in addition to armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding sabot rounds. The Challenger 2 is also armed with a L94A1X34 7.62mm chain gun and a 7.62mm L37A2 machine gun, 58 main armament rounds and 4,200 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition a carry. The Challenger 2 is considered to be one of the best protected tanks in the world. The turret and hull are protected with second-generation Chobham armor. However, on one occasion, in August 2006, during the post-invasion stage of the Iraq War 2003, an RPG-29 was fired at a Challenger 2 that was climbing over a ramp. The front underside hull armor of the tank, which was not augmented with an explosive reactive armor package, was damaged. The tank subsequently returned to base under its own power and was quickly repaired and back on duty the following day. As a result, the explosive reactive armor package was replaced with a Dorchester block and the steel underbelly lined with armor as part of the Street Fighter upgrade as a direct response to this incident. To date, the only time the tank has ever been seriously damaged during operations was by another Challenger 2 in a blue-on-blue incident. It has seen operational service in Bosnia, Kosovo and Iraq. History. The Challenger 2 is the third vehicle of this name, the first being the A-30 Challenger, a World War II design using the Cromwell tank chassis with a 17-pounder gun. The second was the Persian Gulf War-era Challenger 1, which was the British Army's main battle tank from the early 1980s to the mid-1990s. Vickers Defence Systems began to develop a successor to Challenger 1 as a private venture in 1986. Following the issue of a staff requirement for a next-generation tank, Vickers formally submitted its plans for Challenger 2 to the Ministry of Defence. Secretary of State for Defence George Younger announced to the House of Commons that Vickers would receive a £90 million contract for a demonstrator vehicle, a deal that was finalised in January 1989. The demonstration phase contained 3 milestones for progress, with dates of September 1989, March 1990, and September 1990. At the last of these milestones, Vickers was to have met 11 key criteria for the tank's design. In June 1991, after competition with other tank manufacturers' designs, the MOD placed a £520 million order for 127 MBTs and 13 driver training vehicles, an order for a further 259 tanks and 9 driver trainers was placed in 1994. Oman ordered 18 Challenger 2s in 1993 and a further 20 tanks in November 1997. Production began in 1993 at 2 primary sites, Ellswick, Tyne and Weir and Barnbow, Leeds, although over 250 subcontractors were involved. The first tanks were delivered in July 1994. The Challenger 2 successfully completed its reliability growth trial in 1994. 3 vehicles were tested for 285 simulated battlefield days. Each day consisted of 27 kilometers of on-road travel, 33 kilometers of off-road travel, 34 main armament rounds fired, 1007.62 mg rounds fired, 16 hours weapon system operation, 10 hours main engine idling, 3.5 hours main engine running. An equally important milestone was the in-service reliability demonstration in 1999. 12 fully crewed tanks were tested at the Bovington test tracks, and at Lulworth Bindon ranges. The tank exceeded all staff requirements. The Challenger 2 entered service with the British Army in 1998, with the last delivered in 2002. It serves with the Queen's Royal Hussars, the King's Royal Hussars and the Royal Tank Regiment, each of which is the tank regiment of an armoured infantry brigade. Under Army 2020, only 3 Challenger 2 tank regiments will remain: the Queen's Royal Hussars, the King's Royal Hussars and the Royal Tank Regiment. In addition, a single Army Reserve Regiment, the Royal Wessex Yeomanry, will provide armoured resilience. Deliveries of the Challenger 2 to Oman were completed in 2001. The Trojan minefield breaching vehicle and a Titan bridge-laying vehicle based on the chassis of the Challenger 2 were shown in November 2006, 66, to be supplied by BAE Systems to the Royal Engineers, at a cost of £250 million. A British military document from 2001 indicated that the British Army would not procure a replacement for the Challenger 2 because of a lack of foreseeable conventional threats in the future. However, IHS Janes 360 reported on the 20th of September 2015 that following discussions with senior Army officers and procurement officials at DSEI 2015, as well as the head of the British Army, General Sir Nick Carter, that the British Army was looking at either upgrading the Challenger 2 or outright replacing it. Sources confirmed that the future of the MBT was being considered at the highest levels of the Army. This stemmed from the British Army's concern with the new Russian T-14 Armata main battle tank and the growing ineffectiveness of the aging L-30 rifled gun and its limited suite of ammunition. Further, it was confirmed that numerous armored vehicle manufacturers had discussions with the MOD about a potential replacement for the Challenger 2. Shortly after, the British Army decided that purchasing a new tank would be too expensive and chose to proceed with the Challenger 2 life extension project. It is expected to remain in service until 2025. Design. Armament. The Challenger 2 is equipped with a 120mm 55 caliber long L30A1 tank gun, the successor to the L11 gun used on Chieftain and Challenger 1. The gun is made from high-strength electroslag remelting steel with a chromium alloy lining and, like earlier British 120mm guns, it is insulated by a thermal sleeve. It is fitted with a muzzle reference system and fume extractor, and is controlled by an all-electric control and stabilization system. The turret has a rotation time of 9 seconds through 360 degrees. Uniquely among NATO main battle tank armament, the L30A1 is rifled and, along with its predecessor, Royal Ordnance L11A5, the only third-generation main battle tank guns to use a rifled barrel. This is because the British Army continues to place a premium on the use of high-explosive squash-head rounds in addition to armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding sabot rounds. HESH rounds have a longer range than a PFSDS and are more effective against buildings and thin-skinned vehicles. 49 main armament rounds are carried in the turret and hull. These are a mix of L27A1A PFSDS, L31 HESH and L34 white phosphorus smoke rounds, depending on the situation. As with earlier versions of the 120mm gun, the propellant charges are loaded separately from the shell. A K projectile, a combustible rigid charge, is used for the APFSDS rounds, and a combustible hemispherical bag charge for the HESH and smoke rounds. An electrically fired vent tube is used to initiate firing of the main armament rounds. The separation of ammunition pieces also aids in ensuring lower chances of ammo detonation. The Challenger 2 is also armed with a L94A1 chain gun X34 7.62mm chain gun coaxially to the left of the main gun, and a 7.62mm L37A2 machine gun mounted on a pintle on the loader's hatch ring. 4,200 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition are carried. The Challenger can also mount a remote weapon system bearing a 7.62mm L37A2 machine gun, a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, or a 40mm automatic grenade launcher. Fire control and sights. The digital fire control computer from Computing Devices Co. of Canada contains two 32-bit processors with a MIL STD1553B databus, and has capacity for additional systems, such as the Battlefield Information Control System. The commander has a panoramic Sagem VS580-10 gyro-stabilized sight with laser rangefinder. Elevation range is +35 degrees to -35 degrees. The commander's station is equipped with 8 periscopes for 360 degrees vision. The thermal observation and gunnery sight 2 from Thales provides night vision. The thermal images displayed on both the gunner's and commander's sights and monitors. The gunner has a stabilized primary sight using a laser rangefinder with a range of 200 meters to 10 kilometers. The driver's position is equipped with a Thales Optronics image-intensifying passive driving periscope for night driving and a rear-view thermal camera protection. The Challenger 2 is one of the most heavily armored and best protected tanks in the world. The turret and hull are protected by second generation of Chobham armor, the details of which are classified but which is said to be more than twice as strong as steel. Crew safety was paramount in the design, using a solid-state electric drive for its turret and gun movement, thus removing the traditional risk of hydraulic rupture into the crew compartment. Explosive reactive armor kits are also fitted as necessarily, along with additional bar armor. The nuclear, biological and chemical protection system is located in the turret bustle. The tank's shape is also designed with stealth technology to reduce radar signature. On each side of the turret are 5 L8 smoke grenade discharges. The Challenger 2 can also create smoke by injecting diesel fuel into the exhaust manifolds. Drive system. The tank's drive system comprises engine, Perkins 26.6-litre CV12 diesel engine delivering 1,200 horsepower, gearbox, David Brown TN54 epicyclical transmission, suspension, second-generation hydrogas, track, William Cook Defence hydraulically adjustable double-pin. Maximum speed, 37 miles per hour on road, 25 miles per hour cross-country. Range, 280 miles or 450 kilometers on road, 156 miles cross-country on internal fuel. As of 2013, the British Army has, at various events featuring the Challenger 2, begun to state the range of 550 kilometers. They have also publicly stated a maximum road speed of 59 kilometers per hour while equipped with 15 tons of additional modules. Crew and accommodation. The British Army maintained its requirement for a 4-man crew after risk analysis of the incorporation of an automatic loader suggested that auto-loaders reduced battlefield survivability. Mechanical failure and the time required for repair were prime concerns. Similar to every British tank since the Centurion, and most other British AFVs, Challenger 2 contains a boiling vessel for water, which can be used to brew tea, produce other hot beverages and heat to boil in the bag meals contained in field ration packs. This BV requirement is general for armoured vehicles of the British Armed Forces, and is unique to the armed forces of the UK and India. Operational history. The Challenger 2 had been used in peacekeeping missions and exercises before, but its first combat use came in March 2003 during the invasion of Iraq. 7th Armoured Brigade, part of 1st Armoured Division, was in action with 120 Challenger 2s around Basra. The type saw extensive use during the Siege of Basra, providing fire support to the British forces and knocking out multiple enemy tanks, mainly T-54, 55s. The problems that had been identified during the large Safe Saria 2 exercise, held 18 months earlier, had been solved by the issuing of urgent operational requirements for equipment such as sand filters and so during the invasion of Iraq the tank's operational availability was improved. During the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the Challenger 2 tanks suffered no tank losses to enemy fire, although one was penetrated by an IED. This was, at the time, unprotected by Dorchester armor. The driver was injured. In one encounter within an urban area, a Challenger 2 came under attack from irregular forces with machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades. The driver's sight was damaged and, while attempting to back away under the commander's directions, the other sides were damaged and the tank threw its tracks entering a ditch. It was hit directly by 14 rocket-propelled grenades from close range on a Milan anti-tank missile. A crew survived, remaining safe within the tank until it was recovered for repairs, the worst damage being to the sighting system. It was back in operation 6 hours later, after repairs had been done. One Challenger 2 operating near Basra survived being hit by 70 RPGs in another incident. In August 2006, southeast of Al-Amara, southern Iraq, an RPG-29 capable of firing a tandem charge penetrated the frontal lower underbelly armor of a Challenger 2 commanded by Captain Thomas Williams, of the Queen's Royal Hussars. The tank, which had already been hit by 10 to 15 RPGs, small arms and sniper fire, was attempting to draw fire away from another call sign. design that had become stricken. Its driver, Trooper Sean Chance, lost part of his foot in the blast. 2 more of the crew were slightly injured. Chance was able to reverse the vehicle 1.5 miles to the regimental aid post despite his injuries. The incident was not made public until May 2007, in response to accusations that crews had been told the tank was impervious to the insurgents' weapons. The MOD said, "We have never claimed that the Challenger 2 is impenetrable." Since then, the explosive reactive armor has been replaced with a Dorchester block and the steel underbelly lined with armor as part of the Street Fighter upgrade as a direct response to this incident. 2 Challenger 2s have been damaged in combat, but only one has been destroyed. The 25th of March 2003, a friendly fire incident in Basra in which 1 Challenger 2 of the Black Watch battle group mistakenly engaged another Challenger 2 of the Queen's Royal Lancers after detecting what was believed to be an enemy flanking maneuver on thermal equipment. The attacking tank's second HESH round hit the open commander's hatch lid of the QRL tank, sending hot fragments into the turret, killing 2 crew members. The strike caused a fire that eventually led to an explosion of the stowed ammunition, destroying the tank. It remains the only Challenger 2 to be destroyed on operations. The 6th of April 2007, in Basra, Iraq, a shaped charge from an IED penetrated the underside of a tank, resulting in the driver losing 3 of his toes and causing minor injuries to another soldier. To help prevent incidents of this nature happening again, Challenger 2s have been upgraded with a new passive armor package, including the use of add-on armor manufactured by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems of Israel. When deployed on operations, the Challenger 2 is now normally upgraded to TES, which includes a number of modifications including armor and weapon system upgrades and variants. The Challenger Lethality Improvement Program was a program to replace the current L30A1 rifled gun with the smoothbore Rheinmetall 120mm gun, currently used in the Leopard 2A6. The use of a smoothbore weapon would have allowed Challenger 2 to use NATO standard ammunition developed in Germany and the US. This includes tungsten-based kinetic energy penetrators, which do not have the same political and environmental objections as depleted uranium rounds. The production lines for rifled 120mm ammunition in the UK have been closed for some years, so existing stocks of ammunition for the L30A1 are finite. In 2009, a new HESH round manufactured in Belgium has been trialed. This means that the Challenger 2 now has available a new tungsten fin and HESH rounds, if and when required, which secures a line of ammunition for its 55 caliber rifled main gun, the L30, when required in the future. A single Challenger 2 was fitted with the L55 and underwent trials in January 2006. The smoothbore gun is the same length as the L30A1, and is fitted with the rifled gun's cradle, thermal sleeve, bore evacuator and muzzle reference system. Early trials apparently revealed that the German tungsten 53 German Marks round was more effective than the depleted uranium Charm 3. The ammunition storage and handling arrangements will need to be changed to cater for the single-piece smoothbore rounds, instead of the separate loading rifled rounds. In 2006, a figure of £386 million was estimated to fit all Challengers in the British Army with the Rheinmetall 120mm gun. CSP. Other improvements have also been considered, including a regenerative comparative NBC protection system. In addition, several Challenger 2s had the pintle-mounted GPMG on the loader's crew hatch replaced with a remote control turret, allowing the loader to operate the weaponry without having to expose himself to enemy fire. In May 2007, the Ministry of Defence's Future Systems Group invited BAES to tender from the Challenger 2 Capability Sustainment Program, which combined all upgrades into one program. However, by mid-2008, the program was in danger of slipping, or even being cancelled, as a result of defense budget shortfalls. CLEP. In July 2013, it was confirmed that the Challenger 2 life extension program is in the concept stage and will be in initial gate by 2014. This later slipped to early 2015. In June 2014, it was stated that not all of the 227 Challenger 2s may be modified to CLEP standard and the smoothbore cannon had been dropped. By the January 14, 2016 closing date for PQQ in the Life Extension Program, BAE Systems, General Dynamics UK and Lockheed Martin UK had responded. The procurement process is expected to take 2 years, with a commencement decision taken in 2019. By this time, the £700 million programme had been further refined to a goal of extending the life of the tank to 2035 and addressing obsolescence issues such as turret subsystems and optics, with the exclusion of barrel replacement, and the programme may be applied to the inventory of Oman too. At the same time, a separate 2-year contract was awarded to BAES and Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann to develop an update to the bridging variant in Part 2, address the increase in weight of the Challenger 2 from 62.5 t to 75 t arising from upgrades made during the Iraq campaign. A Royal Tank Regiment newsletter dated December 2015 stated that the LEP includes managing to curb obsolescence in several turret systems, including T-sights, the fire control computer and electronic architecture in turret. Improved technology will be integrated as a new system on the platform, which will deliver more accurate engagements at range and improved FCC power, meaning that County Route 2 will remain a battle-winning asset out to the extended out-of-service date. Parallel work strands will provide extensions to virtual training systems, deliver improved live fire monitoring equipment, and work is ongoing to develop improved 120mm ammunition natures. A recent Ministry of Defense document also identified a soft-kill defensive aid system, the must for the Challenger 2. Titan. The Titan armored bridge layer is based on aspects of the Challenger 2 running gear and will replace the Chieftain armored vehicle launched bridge. The Titan came into service in 2006 with the Royal Engineers, with 33 in service. Titan can carry a single 26-meter-long bridge or two 12-meter-long bridges. It can also be fitted with a bulldozer blade. Trojan. The Trojan armored vehicle Royal Engineers is a combat engineering vehicle designed as a replacement for the Chieftain AVRE. It uses the Challenger 2 chassis, and carries an articulated excavator arm, a dozer blade, and attachment railies for fastens. Entering service in 2007, 33 were produced. Challenger 2E. The Challenger 2E is an export version of the tank. It has a new integrated weapon control and battlefield management system, which includes a gyro-stabilized panoramic SEGM MVS 580-day thermal sight for the commander and SEGM SAVAN 15 gyro-stabilized day thermal sight for the gunner, both with eye-safe laser rangefinder. This allows hunter-killer operations with a common engagement sequence. An optional servo-controlled overhead weapons platform can be slaved to the commander's sight to allow operation independent from the turret. The power pack has been replaced by a new 1,500 horsepower Euro power pack with transversely mounted MTU mount 883 diesel engine coupled to rank HSWL295TM. Automatic transmission. The increase in vehicle performance is significant. The smaller volume but more powerful power pack incorporates as standard a cooling system and air intake filtration system proved in desert use. The free space in the hull is available for ammunition storage or for fuel, increasing the vehicle's range to 550 kilometers. BAS announced in 2005 the development and export marketing of 2E would stop. This has been linked by the media to the failure of the 2E to be selected for the Hellenic Army in 2002, a competition won by the Leopard 2. CRARV. The Challenger Armored Repair and Recovery Vehicle is an armored recovery vehicle based on the Challenger 1 hull and designed to repair and recover damaged tanks on the battlefield. It has 5 seats but usually carries a crew of 3 soldiers from the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, of the recovery mechanic and vehicle mechanic technician trades. There is room in the cabin for 2 further passengers on a temporary basis. The size and performance are similar to the MBT, but instead of armament it is fitted with a main winch with 50 tons force pull in a 1-to-1 configuration and 98 tons force pull using an included pulley in a 2-to-1 configuration and anchor point on the vehicle, plus a small auxiliary winch to aid in deploying the main winch rope. Atlas crane capable of lifting 6,500 kilograms at a distance of 4.9 meters. In order to improve the flexibility and supplement the transportation power packs around the battlefield, the British Army procured a quantity of dedicated CRARV high-mobility trailers. Each CRARV HMT enables a CRARV to transport of single power pack or 2 Warrior power packs by altering the configuration of dedicated fixtures and attachment of fittings. Dozer blade to act as an earth anchor, stabilizer, or in obstacle clearance and fire position preparation. Large set of recovery and heavy repair tools including a man-portable ultra-thermic cutting system with an underwater cutting capability and a man-portable welding solution. The design prototype is on display at the Ream Museum of Technology in Arborfield, Berkshire. Operators: United Kingdom, British Army 408 delivered, Oman, Royal Army of Oman 38 sent.